mechanism of US dollar creation, a study of Federal Reserve policy and fractional reserve banking. The creation of US dollar is a complex process that involves both the Federal Reserve monetary policy and the banking sector lending practice through fractional reserve banking. This paper explores how the Federal Reserve, as the central bank, used tools such as open market operation (OMO), quantitative easing (QE), and interest rate adjustment to influence the money supply and promote economic stability. It also examines the role of commercial banks in expanding the money supply through lending based on the reserve they hold. By delving into this mechanism, the paper aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of how new money enters the economy, the impact of this process on economic growth, inflation, and financial markets, and the importance of maintaining a balance between liquidity and stability. The understanding of this concept is critical for both policymakers and the public, particularly in light of financial crisis, inflationary pressures, and evolving economic conditions. Introduction. Overview of money creation in modern economies. Money creation is the process by which the total money supply of an economy is increased or decreased, and it is a fundamental aspect of modern financial system. In the US, this process is governed by the Federal Reserve, or the central bank, in combination with the commercial banking sector. Understanding how money is created is crucial for comprehending how liquidity flows through the economy, supporting growth, investment, and everyday financial activities. At its core, money creation impacts every aspect of the financial system, from individual savings and borrowing to national economic policy and global financial stability. Central to this process are the policies set by the Federal Reserve, which influence how much money is available in the economy, and the lending practice of commercial banks, which directly impact the amount of credit available to business and consumers. This dual system ensures that money creation serves the needs of both the state and the private sector. The role of money creation in economic growth and liquidity. Money creation is vital for ensuring that the economy has enough liquidity to function efficiently. Liquidity refers to the ease with which assets can be converted into cash without affecting their price. In a healthy economy, sufficient liquidity ensures that business can invest in new projects, consumers can buy goods and services, and the government can fund public programs. When money is created, whether through central bank policy or bank lending, it is injected into the economy, increasing the total amount of money available for spending and investment. This increase in the money supply helps facilitate economic growth by providing capital for businesses to expand and hire more workers, and by giving consumers access to loans for large purchases, such as homes or cars. In times of economic slowdown, money creation can also be a tool to stimulate the economy by making more funds available for borrowing and spending, thus boosting demand. However, money creation is a double-edged sword. While it can fuel economic growth, excessive money creation can lead to inflation, where the purchasing power of money decreases and prices rise. This is why central banks like the Federal Reserve carefully regulate the money supply to maintain a balance between economic growth and price stability. Defining key terms: monetary base, money supply, M1, M2. To understand the mechanism of money creation, it's essential to define some key terms. Monetary base, also known as high-powered money. The monetary base refers to the total amount of currency in circulation, including physical cash and reserve held by commercial banks at the central bank. The monetary base is the foundation upon which money supply is built, as it provides the reserve that commercial banks use to lend money. Money supply M1, M2. The money supply is a broader measure that includes different categories of liquid assets available in the economy. M1, this is the most liquid form of money and includes physical currency, coins and paper money held by the public, as well as demand deposit, checking account, and other assets that can be quickly converted to cash. M2. This includes all of M1 plus slightly less liquid form of money such as saving account, time deposit like certificates of deposit, and money market fund. M2 is a broader measure of the money supply, reflecting both immediate cash and near cash asset. The Federal Reserve influences both the monetary base and the money supply through its monetary policy. While the monetary base is directly controlled by the Fed operation, M1 and M2 are impacted by the lending activities of commercial banks. Why understanding money creation is essential? Understanding how money is created is vital for both policymakers and the general public. The mechanism of money creation are at the heart of monetary policy, which is one of the most powerful tools the government has for managing the economy. When the Federal Reserve adjusts the supply of money, it directly affects interest rate, inflation, unemployment, and overall economic growth. For example, inflation control. Excessive money creation can lead to inflation, as more money chases the same amount of goods and services, driving prices higher. The Federal Reserve must monitor inflation closely and adjust the money supply to prevent runaway price increases. Economic stimulus. During recession, the Fed may increase the money supply to lower interest rate and encourage borrowing and spending, stimulating the economy. Banking stability. The role of commercial banks in money creation through lending also highlight the importance of financial regulation. If banks overextend themselves by creating too much money through loans, it can lead to financial instability or even bank failures, as seen during the 2008 financial crisis. In sum, money creation is a complex process that involves both the central bank and the commercial banking system. By influencing the supply of money, the Federal Reserve and banks together play a critical role in determining the pace of economic growth, the stability of financial system, and the level of inflation. Understanding this mechanism is key to understanding broader economic policy and the risks and opportunities inherent in financial market. The Federal Reserve role in money creation or monetary policy. The Federal Reserve, as the central bank of the United States, play a central role in controlling the supply of money through its monetary policy tools. By managing the quantity of reserve in the banking system and influencing interest rate, the Fed directly impacts how much money circulates in the economy. The three key mechanisms through which the Federal Reserve create or influence money are open market operation or OMOS, quantitative easing or QE, and interest rate manipulation. Each of these tools has distinct impact on the monetary base, bank reserve, and the broader money supply. Open market operation or OMO. Open market operation are the Federal Reserve primary tool for controlling the money supply. OMOs involve the buying and selling of US Treasury securities, such as bonds, notes, and bills, on the open market, primarily with financial institutions such as banks. This transaction influences the level of reserve in the banking system, which directly affect the monetary base and the money supply. Purchasing US Treasury securities. When the Federal Reserve buys Treasury securities from financial institutions, it credits the bank reserve account held at the Fed. This transaction injects new reserve into the banking system. These reserves are the raw material for banks to create money, as they are part of the monetary base that banks rely on for lending. With more reserve, banks have a higher capacity to lend, which leads to an expansion of the money supply. Impact on the monetary base. The monetary base consists of currency in circulation plus the reserve held by banks at the Federal Reserve. By purchasing Treasury securities, the Fed increased the reserve of banks, thereby expanding the monetary base. Although this increase in reserve doesn't immediately translate into a one-to-one increase in the broader money supply, it lays the groundwork for a potential expansion through lending. Increasing bank capacity to lend. Banks are required to keep a certain portion of their deposit as reserve or reserve requirement. When banks have excess reserve beyond what is required, they are more likely to lend money to businesses and consumers. The new loans create deposits in the banking system, effectively increasing the money supply. This process, known as the money multiplier effect, shows how OMOs can lead to a broader expansion of available money in the economy. Sale of securities. Conversely, if the Federal Reserve wants to reduce the money supply, it can sell treasury securities on the open market. This removes reserve from the banking system, constraining banks' lending capability and contract the monetary base. In normal time, OMOs are the most frequently used tool by the Federal Reserve to adjust the supply of money and maintain economic stability. Quantitative easing or QE. Quantitative easing or QE is a more unconventional form of monetary policy used by the Federal Reserve, typically in situations where traditional tools such as OMOs and interest rate manipulation have proven insufficient. QE is primarily used during periods of severe economic downturn or deflationary pressure, such as during the 2008 financial crisis or the COVID-19 pandemic. Definition of QE and distinction from OMO. While traditional OMO focus on short-term treasury securities, QE involved the large-scale purchase of longer-term government bond and other financial assets, such as mortgage-backed security or MBS. The key difference between QE and OMO is the scope and the type of asset purchase. QE is designed to lower long-term interest rate and provide liquidity when short-term rates are already near zero, the so-called zero lower bound. How QE works? Under QE, the Federal Reserve creates money by buying government bond and MBS from financial institutions, injecting substantial amount of liquidity into the banking system. These purchases increase the reserve of bank, giving them more capacity to lend and invest in other assets. QE aims to boost lending, lower interest rate across the board, and stimulate demand by providing businesses and consumers with cheaper borrowing opportunities. Impact on the broader economy and money supply. The goal of QE is to encourage banks to increase lending and investment, thereby expanding the money supply and stimulating economic activity. Lower interest rates resulting from QE make borrowing cheaper for businesses, which can lead to more investment in capital and hiring. Consumers also benefit from lower borrowing costs, which can lead to higher spending on homes, cars, and other goods. QE has a broad impact, influencing asset prices and wealth effect as well. As the Federal Reserve buys up large quantity of bonds, bond price rise, which lower yield. This pushes investors to move their money into riskier assets like stocks, driving up stock price and increasing household wealth. Higher asset price can boost confidence and spending, stimulating further economic growth. QE in times of economic downturn. QE is particularly useful when traditional interest rate policy is no longer effective. For example, during the 2008 financial crisis, interest rates were already at historic lows. So the Fed turned to QE to inject liquidity into financial system and stave out the deeper recession. Similarly, during the COVID-19 pandemic, QE was deployed to destabilize financial market and support the economy through unprecedented shutdown. Interest rate manipulation. Interest rate manipulation is another critical tool the Federal Reserve used to influence the money supply and broader economic activity. The Fed does this by setting the federal funds rate, which is the interest rate at which banks lend reserves to one another overnight. How the federal funds rate affect the economy? By changing the federal fund rate, the Federal Reserve indirectly influences a wide range of other interest rates in the economy, including rates on mortgage, auto loans, and business loans. A lower federal funds rate reduces the cost of borrowing for banks, which in turn lower borrowing costs for business and consumers. Conversely, raising the federal funds rate increases borrowing costs, slowing down lending and spending. Lowering the interest rate to expand money supply. When the Federal Reserve lowers the federal funds rate, it incentivizes banks to borrow more from each other and from the Fed, increasing their reserves. With more reserve, banks can lend more to business and consumers, expanding the money supply. This increase in lending boosts economic activity as business invest in new projects and consumers take out loan for large purchase. Lowering interest rate also make it less attractive for people to save, as the return on saving account and bonds decreases. This encourages more spending and investment, further stimulating the economy. Raising interest rate to contract the money supply. On the flip side, When the Federal Reserve raises interest rate, borrowing becomes more expensive. This discourages banks from borrowing reserve and reduces their capacity to lend, leading to a contraction of the money supply. Higher interest rates also encourage saving over spending, slowing down economic activity. The Fed typically raises rates to combat inflation, as it seeks to cool down an overheated economy. The dual mandate. The Federal Reserve's use of interest rate manipulation is driven by its dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices. In times of high employment, the Fed may lower interest rate to stimulate job creation. In periods of high inflation, it may raise rates to curb excess demand and bring inflation under control. Conclusion. The Federal Reserve monetary policy tools, open market operation or OMOS, quantitative easing QE, and interest rate manipulation are crucial for managing the supply of money and promoting economic stability. OMOS are the standard day-to-day tool for adjusting liquidity, while QE is used during extraordinary times to provide large-scale stimulus. Interest rate manipulation allows the Fed to control the pace of borrowing and spending, ensuring that the economy grows without excessive inflation. Together, these tools form the backbone of the Fed's approach to money creation and economic management. Fractional reserve banking and the money multiplier effect. The commercial banking system is a key player in the creation of money through the process of fractional reserve banking. Banks are not merely intermediaries that move existing money around the economy. They play an active role in expanding the money supply by lending a portion of the deposit they receive. The mechanics of this process, known as the money multiplier effect, result in a significant expansion of the money supply relative to the initial reserve held by banks. This section explores the basics of fractional reserve banking and theoretical multiplier effect, and the interaction between bank lending practice and the Federal Reserve policy. The basics of fractional reserve banking. Fractional reserve banking is a system in which banks are required to hold only a fraction of their customer deposit as reserve while lending out the remainder. This system allows banks to create new money in the form of loan, which in turn expand the overall money supply in the economy. The fraction that banks are required to hold is determined by the reserve requirement set by the central bank, and it is usually a small percentage of the total deposit. How it works. When a customer deposits money in a bank, the bank is required to keep a portion of that deposit in its reserve, either as cash in the vault or as deposit at the Federal Reserve, while the rest is available to be lent out. The amount that bank must keep as reserve is typically a small percentage of the deposit. For example, if the reserve requirement is 10%, the bank must keep $100 in reserve for every $1,000 deposit, allowing it to lend out the remaining $900. An example, let's say a customer deposits $1,000 in bank A. If the reserve requirement is 10%, the bank is required to hold $100 in reserve and can lend out $900. Now assume the bank lends the $900 to another customer who deposit it in Bank B. Bank B will then hold $90 or 10% of $900 as a reserve and lend out $810. This process continues as the loan money is deposited in various banks, with each bank holding a fraction in reserve and lending out the remainder. As a result, the initial $1,000 deposit generates a chain of loan, multiplying the total amount of money in circulation. In this system, the actual money in the economy grows beyond the original deposit because of the way banks relend deposit fund. This leads to an expansion of the money supply, a process that occurs naturally within the fractional reserve banking system. The money multiplier effect. The money multiplier effect describes the process by which an initial deposit in the banking system can lead to a multiplied increase in the total money supply through the repeated cycle of deposit and loan. The multiplier effect is a theoretical concept that explains how fractional reserve banking expands the money supply. Definition of the money multiplier. The money multiplier is a ratio that measures the maximum potential increase in the money supply that can result from an initial deposit. It is calculated as the inverse of the reserve requirement. For example, If the reserve requirement is 10%, the money multiplier is 1 divided by 0.10 equal 10. This means that each dollar of reserve can support up to $10 in total money supply. How it works in theory? In a simplified model, an initial deposit leads to a series of loan and deposit across the banking system. As shown in the example above, each time money is lent out, it is deposited in another bank, which then lend out a portion of the deposit. This process continues until the amount of money lent out diminishes due to the reserve requirement. Mathematical model. Let's assume an initial deposit of $1,000 and a reserve requirement of 10%. The money multiplier is 10, meaning that the initial deposit can generate up to 10,000 in total money supply. In the first round, $1,000 is deposit and 900 is lent out. In the second round, 900 is deposit and 810 is lent out. In the third round, 810 is deposit and 729 is lent out. This process continues with the total money supply increasing at each step. The total money supply after an infinite number of lending rounds would be the sum of the original deposit plus all the loans created in subsequent round. The total money supply M created from an initial deposit D can be calculated using the following formula. M equal D times 1 divided by reserve requirement. For a $1,000 deposit and a 10% reserve requirement, the total money supply is M equal 1,000 times 1 divided by 0.1 equal 10,000. Thus, a $1,000 deposit could result in a total of $10,000 in money supply, illustrating the power of the money multiplier. Limits of the multiplier effect in practice. While the theoretical money multiplier suggests a significant expansion of the money supply, in practice the actual multiplier is often lower due to several factors. First one is bank lending behavior. Banks may choose not to lend out all available reserve. During economic downturn or times of uncertainty, banks might hold excess reserve instead of lending, reducing the multiplier effect. Borrower demand. The willingness of consumer and business to take out loans can also limit the expansion of the money supply. If demand for loan is low, bank will lend less, constraining the multiplier. Regulatory and capital requirement. Other regulations such as capital requirement may limit the ability of banks to lend freely, further dampening the multiplier effect. Liquidity trap. In some cases, such as during a financial crisis or a liquidity trap, even large increase in reserve may not translate into increased lending or a higher money supply, as bank and consumer become more risk-averse. The interaction between bank lending and Fed policy. The relationship between bank lending practice and the Federal Reserve monetary policy is a critical factor in determining the overall money supply. While banks create money by lending out deposit, the amount they lend and their willingness to lend are strongly influenced by the reserve they hold and the economic environment shaped by Fed policies. The role of reserve. Banks are required to hold reserve as part of the fractional reserve banking system. These reserves are primarily deposits held at the Federal Reserve. When the Fed engages in open market operation or almost or quantitative easing QE, it injects reserve into the banking system, increasing the amount of money banks can lend. However, the decision to lend also depends on bank assessment of credit risk and the broader economic environment. How Fed policy shapes lending. OMOS and QE. When the Federal Reserve buys government security, it increases the reserve of commercial banks, providing them with the capacity to lend more. However, banks will only lend if they believe there are sufficient profitable lending opportunities and that borrowers are creditworthy. In periods of uncertainty, banks may hold onto reserve rather than extend loan, limiting the expansion of the money supply. Interest rate. The Federal Reserve also influences bank lending through interest rate manipulation. When the Fed lowers interest rates, such as the federal funds rate, it makes borrowing cheaper for banks, which can then pass those lower rates on to consumers and businesses. Lower rates incentivize more borrowing, leading to an expansion of the money supply. Conversely, when the Fed raises rates, borrowing becomes more expensive, reducing the incentive for banks to lend and for consumers to borrow, which can contract the money supply. The feedback loop. The relationship between bank lending and Fed policy creates a feedback loop. When the Federal Reserve injects reserve into the banking system, it expands the potential for lending. If banks lend more, the money supply expands, which can stimulate economic growth. However, if the economy overheats, causing inflation, the Fed may respond by raising interest rates, reducing lending and contracting the money supply. This interplay between bank behavior and Fed action is central to how the economy is managed. Conclusion: fractional reserve banking combined with the money multiplier effect plays a vital role in expanding the money supply in modern economies. Through lending, banks can multiply the amount of money in circulation, but this process is intricately linked to Federal Reserve policy, which control the reserve available to banks and the cost of borrowing. The interaction between bank lending and Fed policy forms a dynamic system that regulates the supply of money, influencing economic growth, inflation, and financial stability. The broader implication of money creation. The process of money creation, whether through central bank policy or fractional reserve banking, has significant effect on the broader economy. It can fuel economic growth by increasing liquidity and enabling investment and consumption. However, there are also risks associated with expanding the money supply, particularly in terms of inflation. Additionally, the influence of money creation on financial market is profound, as it can drive asset price higher and encourage speculation in markets such as real estate and equities. Economic growth and inflation. Money creation is the driver of economic growth. The expansion of the money supply plays a crucial role in promoting economic growth by increasing the availability of credit and liquidity, which are essential for both business and consumer. When more money is available for borrowing, business can take out loans to finance capital investment such as new equipment, technology, or infrastructure. This investment can lead to increased productivity, higher output, and the creation of jobs, all of which stimulate economic activity. On the consumer side, an increase in the money supply enables households to access more credit, which they can use to purchase homes, cars, and other goods. Higher consumer spending boosts demand for products and services, encouraging business to expand further. This positive cycle where increased liquidity leads to higher investment and consumption supports sustained economic growth. For example, during periods of recession, central banks like the Federal Reserve may increase the money supply through monetary easing to lower interest rate, making it cheaper for businesses and consumers to borrow. This can help pull the economy out of a slump by stimulating demand. Inflation as a risk of overexpansion. While the expansion of the money supply is necessary for growth, excessive money creation can lead to inflation, where the purchasing power of money declines and the prices of goods and services rise. Inflation occurs when the amount of money in the economy grows faster than the supply of goods and services. With more money chasing the same amount of goods, prices tend to increase. There are several types of inflation that can result from an overexpansion of the money supply. Demand pull inflation occurs when increased demand driven by greater access to credit and money outstrip supply, pushing prices higher. Cost push inflation can arise when the cost of inputs such as raw material and wages increases, and business pass this cost on to consumers. Money creation can indirectly fuel cost push inflation if it drives up asset price and wage demand. If inflation becomes too high, it can have a destabilizing effect on the economy. Hyperinflation is an extreme case where the prices prices rise uncontrollably, rendering the currency nearly worthless. Countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela have experienced hyperinflation, where excessive money creation, often to finance government deficit, led to severe economic crisis. Balancing money creation to prevent inflation. Central banks are tasked with balancing the need for liquidity to support economic growth while preventing runaway inflation. The Federal Reserve, for example, uses its dual mandate to promote maximum employment and price stability. This requires carefully controlling the money supply. Inflation targeting. The Federal Reserve typically aims for an inflation rate of around 2%. By monitoring inflation indicators, the Fed can adjust monetary policy accordingly, expanding the money supply to boost growth when inflation is low or contracting it to prevent overheating when inflationary pressures rise. Interest rate adjustment. The Fed can raise interest rate to make borrowing more expensive, thus reducing demand and slowing the growth of the money supply. Conversely, when inflation is low, it may lower rates to encourage more borrowing and spending. In summary, while money creation supports economic growth by providing the liquidity needed for investment and consumption, it also carries the risk of inflation. Central banks play a critical role in balancing this competing force to ensure a stable and growing economy. Impact on financial markets. Influence of Federal Reserve policy on asset prices. The policies of the Federal Reserve and the process of money creation have a significant impact on financial market, particularly in the realms of real estate and stock market. When the Fed injects liquidity into the economy through open market operation, OMOS, or quantitative easing QE, it not only expands the money supply but also lowers interest rate. Lower interest rate makes borrowing cheaper, encouraging investment in financial assets. As more money becomes available for investment, demand for assets such as stock, bond, and real estate rises. This often leads to a higher asset price, as investors compete for a limited number of investment opportunities. Stock market. When interest rates are low, stock become more attractive compared to other investment options like bond, which offer lower return. As investors seek higher yields, they pour money into equities, driving up stock prices. The influx of liquidity can lead to rapid gains in the stock market, creating a wealth effect where investors feel richer and may increase their spending, further stimulating the economy. Real estate. Similarly, lower interest rates reduce the cost of mortgage borrowing, making it easier for individuals to purchase homes and for developers to finance new projects. This can lead to increased demand for real estate, pushing up property values. Rising home prices contribute to household wealth and can also fuel further economic activity, as homeowners may borrow against their equity to finance other spending. Speculative market and asset bubble. One of the unintended consequences of rapid money creation and easy monetary policy is the potential for speculative bubble in financial market. As more money flows into asset market, there is a risk that prices will rise beyond their fundamental value, driven by speculative behavior rather than underlying economic growth. Asset bubble. An asset bubble occurs when prices inflate rapidly due to excessive demand, often fueled by speculative investors hoping to make quick profit. For example, the US housing market bubble of the mid-2000s was driven in part by easy access to credit and speculative investment in real estate. When the bubble burst, it led to the 2008 financial crisis. Stock market volatility. Similarly, when the stock market is flooded with liquidity, investors may push prices higher based on expectation rather than fundamental. This can lead to overvalue markets that are vulnerable to sharp correction when expectations change or when the central bank tightens monetary policy. The role of speculation. The newly created money often finds its way into speculative market because low interest rates make borrowing cheap, encouraging riskier investment. As a result, asset prices can become disconnected from the real economy. Investors may be driven by the fear of missing out, FOMO, leading to herd behavior, where everyone piles into the same asset, inflating price further. However, speculative bubbles are inherently unstable. When the Federal Reserve decides to reverse course by raising interest rate to combat inflation or financial instability, the cost of borrowing rises, and the speculative momentum can quickly reverse, leading to sharp decline in asset prices. Conclusion: the broader implications of money creation are far-reaching, with the potential to drive economic growth by providing the liquidity necessary for investment and consumption. However, the expansion of the money supply also carries the risk of inflation, which central banks must carefully manage. Additionally, money creation significantly impacts financial market, driving up asset prices and sometimes fueling speculative bubble that can destabilize the economy if not kept in check. The balance between supporting growth and preventing inflation and asset bubble is a delicate one, and central banks must navigate it carefully to ensure long-term economic stability. Conclusion: the creation of US dollar, primarily driven by action of the Federal Reserve and the commercial banking system, is fundamental to the functioning of the economy. Both the Federal Reserve and bank play distinct but interconnected roles in this process. The Federal Reserve, through tools such as open market operation, quantitative easing, and interest rate manipulation, directly influence the availability of reserve in the banking system and the overall liquidity of the economy. On the other hand, commercial banks expand the money supply through fractional reserve banking and lending, creating money through loans based on the deposit they can receive. The role of the Federal Reserve in US dollar creation. The Federal Reserve, as the central bank, controls the supply of money primarily by regulating the amount of reserve in the banking system. Through almost, the Fed buys or sells US Treasury securities to either inject or withdraw reserve from banks. By increasing reserve, the Fed gives banks more capacity to lend, which in turn expands the money policy. During periods of economic instability or recession, the Fed may turn to quantitative easing or QE to purchase large-scale assets like long-term government bond and mortgage-backed securities. This injects even more liquidity into the economy with the goal of lowering interest rate and encouraging borrowing and investment. Moreover, the Federal Reserve uses interest rate manipulation to influence lending and borrowing behavior. By adjusting the federal fund rate, the Fed can either stimulate economic activity by making borrowing cheaper, lower rate, or slow down an evaporating economy by raising borrowing costs, higher rate. This flexibility allows the Fed to respond to different economic conditions, promoting stability and growth while controlling inflation. The role of commercial banks in money creation. Commercial banks are integral to money creation through the fractional reserve banking system. When banks receive deposit, they are only required to hold a fraction of this deposit as reserve, with the remainder available for lending. This lending process creates new money in the form of loan, which are then redeposited in the banking system, repeating the cycle and multiplying the amount of money in circulation. The money multiplier effect describes how an initial deposit can result in a much larger increase in the total money supply through repeated rounds of lending and depositing. The interaction between the reserve provided by the Federal Reserve and the lending practice of commercial banks is crucial. While the Fed controls the monetary base, reserve, and currency in circulation, it is the bank that use this reserve to expand the broader money supply. However, banks' ability to lend is influenced by economic condition, regulatory requirement, and the demand for loan, which can limit the full theoretical expansion of money. The importance of understanding this mechanism. For policymakers and the public alike, understanding how the US dollar is created through the action of the Federal Reserve and commercial bank is crucial. The expansion of the money supply is directly tied to economic growth, inflation, and financial stability. In particular, policymakers need a deep understanding of this mechanism to make informed decisions about monetary policy. During times of financial crisis such as the 2008 recession or the COVID-19 pandemic, central bank must act swiftly to provide liquidity and stabilize market. Knowing when to inject money into the economy, when to raise or lower interest rate, and how to balance the risk of inflation versus stagnation is essential for maintaining the healthy economy. The public should also have a basic awareness of how money is created and the impact of this process has on their everyday life. The availability of credit, the cost of loan, inflation rate, and the performance of financial market all depend on the broader monetary policy and banking practices that drive money creation. A better informed public is more capable of making financial decisions, such as borrowing and investing, in a way that aligns with broader economic trends. Understanding money creation is particularly relevant in the context of inflationary pressure and financial crisis. Excessive money creation can lead to inflation, eroding the value of saving and making goods and services more expensive. On the other hand, in times of economic contraction, not enough money creation can lead to deflation, stagnant growth, and unemployment. Balancing this risk is the central challenge for both the Federal Reserve and commercial bank. Conclusion: navigating the future of money creation. The dual forces of monetary policy from the Federal Reserve and lending practice from commercial bank have a profound impact on the U.S. economy. They shape the availability of money, the cost of borrowing, and the stability of financial market. As we move into an increasingly complex global economy, with challenges such as digital currency, evolving financial regulation, and new risks like climate-related financial crisis, understanding the mechanism of money creation will be more critical than ever. For policymakers, the ability to finely tune the money supply will be essential in navigating future challenges, preventing crises, and promoting sustainable growth. For the public, a clearer understanding of how the money they rely on is created and managed can empower better financial decision-making and a more stable, prosperous society. Ultimately, the study of money creation is a study of economic power, one that will continue to shape the future of the US and the global financial system.